Bruner of Campaign Solutions, when he resigned from his job and not supporting the Republican Party, is a courageous person. He's a courageous person because he sees one thing, just like what his letter and the video that you will see in the description that I did when I took his writing and turned it to an audio file. So, or you can read it in the link below. He basically says that the Republican Party has become something closer to that of the worst regimes in the last 100 years, the worst authoritarian regimes in the last century. There's only one that he's talking about, and that type of behavior, you are supposed to do exactly what he did. You don't contribute to it. You break from it. There is no value that you have when you contribute to things that you are seeing that reflect the worst totalitarian regime of the last century. Those people make up a lot of the people that Trump is just hiring. He literally took one of these people, a person that was well known, apparently, for his positions in being very pro-worst totalitarian regime of the last century, and tried to put him in a senior level position in the Department of Justice. Literally, to put a person who calls himself one of that particular totalitarian regime and give him a job at one of the highest level positions within the Department of Justice. Are we crazy? There are two ways of looking at January 6th and the position that a person who respects the worst totalitarian regime of the last century, it's called the beer hall putsch, which was when the people who led the worst totalitarian regime of the last century attempted to do exactly what January 6th attempted to do. So yes, those people who embrace the worst totalitarian regime of the last century would want to be a part of you because they think you are going to give them what they want. See, those people might see, the Gulf of America turning Canada into the 51st state, invasions of Greenland, talks about that as Lebensraum. You can look those up. That those people look at what is happening and they see it as a positive thing. People who believe in the kind of philosophies that would be the worst totalitarian regime of the last century, which is what he quit over. This, a president wanting to send United States military forces into American cities which are not experiencing astronomical explosions of crime or anything, but would send the military into American streets first, not second. A person who would want his own private army handling immigration, because the worst totalitarian regime of the last century wrote an immigration policy that we would later call the final solution, which was just simply how to handle their illegal immigrant problem. So he refers to what we are experiencing as the worst totalitarian regime in the last century, and us being like them as we take people who are here in this country and lock them up because this government tries to define certain types of people as being here illegally, or wants to be able to redraft our citizenship rights to some sort of new standard. You see, the worst totalitarian regime in the last 100 years, let's just be clear, that is what the Nuremberg laws were, was redrafting citizenship rights, was changing and declaring a certain class of people as no longer citizens of the country that represented the worst totalitarian regime in the last century. So the question becomes, what do you do? The question becomes, if you're a Republican, what do you do when you're finally faced with the question of what would you do if the worst totalitarian regime in the last century was trying to take place here within the United States? What would you do? Would you resist it? Because you know what he chose to do? He chose to quit supporting it. You as a Republican have got to make this choice. Are you a part of a group that even a Republican strategist at Campaign Solutions that would raise a low of $10 million to $30 and $40 million a year of fundraising has decided to quit? Why? Because we are behaving as the worst totalitarian regime in the last century. Like, share, subscribe, and debate. And Miles, hearts off to you. You're a true American. You and I probably would debate on a lot of issues, but you are truly worthy. But you are truly worthy of being like that at the party of Lincoln. You are truly worthy of the best of what we are, because you turned away from what you perceive to be the worst totalitarian regime of the last century and exited it. You are brave and courageous, and I raise my glass to you. Good luck, America. We have to resist the worst totalitarian regime of the last century of trying to do policies here within the United States. Like, share, subscribe.